In the dead of night, Alex Carter listened to a voicemail where a trembling voice whispered, "They know where you are," before cutting to static. Sarah Mitchell screamed nearby, and Alex rushed outside, his breath visible in the icy fog. Detective James Harper appeared with a flashlight, scanning the narrow alley where rain-slicked cobblestones shimmered beneath dim lamplight. Alex spotted a metallic box with strange symbols lying abandoned. Sarah clutched her coat, trembling as she whispered, "What is that?" James crouched and studied the box, his face tense. "This isn't ordinary," Alex said, reaching out. The wind howled, carrying distant echoes of footsteps. James glanced around warily, muttering, "Someone left this for you to find." The symbols glowed faintly as Alex lifted the poisoned letter hidden beneath. Alex Carter crouched closer to the metallic box, his breath quick and visible in the fog. Sarah Mitchell shivered violently, glancing over her shoulder at the empty street. "James, this could be poison," Alex said, his voice tight. Detective James Harper studied the glowing markings with a magnifying glass, muttering, "These symbols are ancient, possibly alchemical." Sarah's voice trembled as she whispered, "Why would anyone send this to us?" The fog seemed to thicken, muffling the world around them. Alex's fingers twitched with anxiety as he carefully lifted the box. James' sharp eyes swept the darkened windows above, scanning for movement. A distant clang echoed, sending Sarah closer to Alex's side. Every shadow felt like it hid an unseen threat waiting to strike. Alex Carter lifted the metallic box closer to his face, the faint chemical odor burning his nostrils. Sarah Mitchell recoiled, whispering, "It smells like death." James Harper's eyes darted across rooftops, scanning for anyone watching. Alex's heart pounded as realization sank in. Someone had orchestrated this carefully. "This isn't just a threat, it's a message," Alex said, voice low. Sarah clutched her coat, her hands trembling uncontrollably. James crouched beside them, his tone hard. "We trace this box now, before anyone else suffers." The symbols glowed faintly as though reacting to their voices. A gust of cold wind swept through, scattering paper and rattling a loose street sign. Alex felt as though unseen eyes were staring from the dark. The metallic box rattled softly, in Alex Carter's grip, sending a chill through him. Sarah Mitchell's eyes filled with dread as she stepped back. James Harper moved forward, his face set with determination. "We can't afford mistakes," James said firmly. Alex knelt again, tracing faint scratches on the surface of the box, each mark hinting at a hidden story. Sarah's voice cracked as she asked, "Why us?" James exhaled sharply and replied, "Because someone wants you to be afraid." The alley darkened further as clouds covered the moon. A faint echo of footsteps made Alex glance over his shoulder. Sarah's hand clutched his coat, her body trembling. James rose slowly, flashlight ready, prepared for whatever lurked beyond the fog. Alex Carter stood, clutching the metallic box tightly, as Sarah Mitchell whispered, "We can't take this home." James Harper raised his voice slightly. "We secure it in evidence first," he ordered. A sudden crash echoed through the alley, making Sarah gasp and Alex whip around. Shadows leapt across brick walls like living creatures. James motioned for silence, his face hardening. "Stay behind me," he said firmly. Sarah clung to Alex's arm as they followed James toward the sound. The symbols on the box seemed to glow brighter, pulsing faintly. "It's like it's alive," Sarah murmured, barely audible. As they neared a darkened corner, a scraping sound sent chills racing up their spines. Alex's breath caught, certain danger was just ahead. Alex Carter stood in his dimly lit study, the metallic box resting on a cluttered desk. Sarah Mitchell paced nervously while James Harper examined a stack of old photographs. "These symbols look like something ancient," James said, voice low. Alex flipped open a faded notebook, his hand trembling as he revealed sketches that matched the markings on the box. Sarah froze when she recognized one sketch, resembling a family heirloom. "This can't be a coincidence," she whispered. James' eyes narrowed. It isn't. Someone is pulling strings from the shadows. Alex clenched his jaw, realizing the poisoned letter wasn't random but deeply personal. Outside, the wind rattled the windows, making Sarah flinch. "We need answers," Alex said. "And we need them now." Alex Carter carefully opened the notebook further, revealing strange diagrams alongside cryptic handwritten notes. Sarah Mitchell leaned in, pointing to a page with a shaking finger. "These symbols match the ones on the box," she said. James Harper leaned closer, his breath steady, but his eyes sharp. "These notes mention a group disbanded years ago," James explained. Alex frowned deeply. "My father once spoke of them but never gave detail." Sarah's face paled as she whispered, "Your father's past might be the key." Alex slammed the notebook shut in frustration. "If this group sent the poisoned letter, they want to hurt us." James placed a firm hand on Alex's shoulder and said, "Then we find them first." Sarah Mitchell walked toward the window, staring out at the foggy street below. "What if they're already watching us?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. Alex Carter joined her, his reflection tense in the glass. "Then we don't give them the satisfaction of fear," he replied, though his tone betrayed unease. James Harper began packing evidence carefully into a worn leather satchel. "We'll take this to a specialist," James said, determined. Sarah turned to Alex. "Are you sure about involving others?" Alex nodded. "We need expertise to understand this poison." A shadow passed by the window, making Sarah gasp. James spun, hand instinctively going to his holstered weapon, but the street was empty once more. The trio arrived at a remote laboratory on the outskirts of town. Alex Carter carried the metallic box wrapped in cloth. Sarah Mitchell stayed close behind, shivering in the cold night air. James Harper knocked sharply, and the door creaked open to reveal Evelyn Cross, a mysterious chemist. Evelyn's sharp eyes swept over the group. "You shouldn't have brought this here," she said icily. Alex placed the box on a metal table, his voice firm. "We need answers." Evelyn studied the glowing symbols under a bright lamp and frowned. "This isn't just poison," she murmured. Sarah's breath caught. "Then what is it?" Evelyn looked at her grimly. "It's a message written in death." Evelyn Cross carefully swabbed the residue on the metallic box and placed it under a microscope. "This compound hasn't been seen in decades," she said, astonished. Alex Carter leaned forward. "Can you trace its origin?" Evelyn nodded slowly. "Yes, but it will take time." Sarah Mitchell hugged herself tightly, whispering, "Who would create something like this?" James Harper's voice was low and grave. "Someone with old grudges." Evelyn's face paled as she glanced at Alex. "This formula connects to a name I hoped never to hear again," she admitted. Alex's heart sank. "Who?" Evelyn locked eyes with him and said, "Nathan Crow." Silence filled the room as fear spread like wildfire among them. Alex Carter drove through a maze of empty streets, his grip tight on the steering wheel while Sarah Mitchell sat silently beside him. James Harper followed in another vehicle, eyes scanning the rearview mirror constantly. Sarah broke the silence, whispering, "Someone has been following us since we left Evelyn's lab." Alex clenched his jaw. "I saw the same black sedan twice," he admitted. James' voice crackled over the radio. "Stay calm, don't stop." The fog grew denser as they approached a deserted overpass. Suddenly, headlights flared behind them. Sarah gasped as the sedan accelerated. Alex swerved sharply, tires screeching. James shouted, "Go, Alex! Don't let them box you in." The chase through the mist was only beginning. Alex Carter swerved off the main road and turned down a narrow dirt path, his breath ragged. Sarah Mitchell looked back, trembling. "They're still behind us," she cried. James Harper's voice came through the radio, calm but firm. "Keep moving toward the old mill. It's isolated." The black sedan's engine roared closer, headlights slicing through the mist. Alex gritted his teeth. "We have to lose them before we get there," he said. Sarah clutched his arm, whispering, "They won't stop." James' car suddenly veered between them and the attackers. "I'll buy you time," James yelled. Alex accelerated, leaving James to face the danger alone as Sarah sobbed in fear. Alex Carter and Sarah Mitchell reached the old mill and hurried inside, slamming the heavy wooden doors. Sarah leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. "James might not make it," she whispered. Alex paced, fists clenched. "He's resourceful. He'll get through this." A creaking floorboard above made them freeze. Sarah clutched his arm tightly. "We're not alone." Alex grabbed a rusted pipe for defense. From the shadows, a figure emerged, Riley Voss, a stranger with a dark coat and calm demeanor. "You shouldn't have come here," Riley said cryptically. Sarah's voice trembled. "Who are you?" Riley smiled faintly. "Someone who knows more about this than you realize." Tension filled the air like a drawn bowstring. Riley Voss stepped forward slowly, his voice low and steady. "The letter was never meant for you, Alex Carter. It was meant to draw you into the open." Sarah Mitchell's eyes widened in shock. "Who sent it?" she demanded. Riley's smirk faded. "Nathan Crow has returned." Alex's breath caught. "Crow is supposed to be dead." Riley shook his head. "Crow's enemies are everywhere, and some are in this very town." A crash echoed outside, making Sarah scream. James Harper burst through the door, limping but alive. "We need to move now," he barked. Riley raised his hands. "If you want answers, you'll listen to me." Tension flared between them like a lit fuse, ready to ignite. James Harper pointed his gun at Riley Voss. "Why should we trust you?" Riley didn't flinch. "Because Crow will kill you all if you don't act now." Alex Carter's fists tightened around the rusted pipe. Sarah Mitchell whispered, "This is madness." Riley continued, "Crow has people everywhere. The poisoned letter was his warning." James gritted his teeth. "Or a trap." Riley stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I can lead you to his hideout." Alex exchanged a glance with Sarah. "We don't have another lead." Outside, the growl of engines cut through the night. Sarah gasped. Riley's expression turned grim. "They've found us," James shouted, "Positions," as headlights flooded the broken windows. The attackers surrounded the mill, engines growling like predators in the fog. James Harper motioned for silence, while Alex Carter held the rusted pipe tightly. Sarah Mitchell clung to Alex, her breath uneven. Riley Voss whispered urgently, "We have to escape through the cellar before they breach the door." Alex's eyes burned with suspicion. "Why should we trust you?" Riley replied coldly, "Because I know what they want." A loud bang echoed as the door shuttered. James growled, "Move now." The group descended into darkness below the mill. Sarah stumbled on the rickety stairs, nearly falling, and Alex caught her just in time. Above them, heavy boots thudded, searching for their prey. Riley muttered, "Crow's men are here." The cellar smelled of mildew and rust, its stone walls cracked with age. James Harper led the way, flashlight flickering as shadows danced on the walls. Sarah Mitchell whispered, "How did they find us so fast?" Riley Voss's voice was bitter. "Crow has eyes everywhere, even inside the police force." Alex Carter froze, staring at Riley. "You're saying there's a traitor in James' department?" James glanced back, face darkening. "I don't like where this is going." Sarah gasped softly as distant voices echoed above. Riley continued, "One of your own helped orchestrate this." James' grip tightened on his weapon, fury and doubt battling in his eyes. Alex muttered, "We're running out of time." They emerged from the cellar into an overgrown field behind the mill. Moonlight filtered through fog, revealing a hidden dirt road. Riley Voss pointed toward a dilapidated barn in the distance. "Crow's first hideout. It holds the truth you need." James Harper grabbed Riley's arm roughly. "If this is a trap, you die first." Riley didn't resist. "You'll find proof there." Sarah Mitchell's voice trembled. "What kind of proof?" Riley glanced at Alex Carter. The past your father tried to bury. Alex's stomach turned as memories resurfaced. My father? He was part of this. Riley's silence was answer enough. Engines roared in the distance, forcing them to run toward the barn before the pursuers caught up. Inside the barn, dust floated like ghosts in shafts of pale moonlight. Alex Carter shined a flashlight on old crates stacked against the walls. Sarah Mitchell coughed softly, covering her mouth. James Harper searched a desk covered in faded documents. A new model. Riley Voss opened a locked chest, revealing photographs and ledgers. These are the records of Crow's original network, Riley explained. Alex flipped through papers, his breath catching. My father's name is here. Sarah's eyes widened. He was part of them. James slammed his fist on the table. This changes everything. Suddenly, a single bullet shattered a window, splintering wood. Riley hissed. We've been followed. Everyone dove for cover as more shots rang out. Bullets tore through the barn as Alex Carter dragged Sarah Mitchell behind a crate. James Harper fired back through the broken window, his face fierce. Riley Voss shouted over the chaos. There's a tunnel beneath the chest. Alex yanked it aside, revealing a trapdoor. Sarah coughed from the dust as Riley helped her down first. James reloaded, gritting his teeth. Go, I'll cover you. Alex hesitated. James, come with us. James shook his head. I'll slow you down. With one last look, Alex descended into darkness, clutching Sarah's hand. Riley dropped in after them. Above, James' final shots echoed, then silence. Tears streamed down Sarah's face as Alex whispered, We'll come back for him. The tunnel walls dripped with condensation as Alex Carter guided Sarah Mitchell through the darkness. Riley Voss moved ahead silently, his steps unnervingly calm. Sarah whispered, James might be dead. Alex squeezed her hand. He's stronger than you think. Distant shouts echoed behind them, and Riley muttered, They're closing in. The tunnel split into two paths. Riley stopped, turning to Alex. Left leads to safety. Right leads to answers. Alex hesitated, torn between survival and truth. Sarah's voice broke. Alex, please. Footsteps thundered closer. Alex growled. We take the right. We end this tonight. Riley's lips curled into a faint, approving smile before leading them forward into the unknown. They emerged from the tunnel into an abandoned train yard. Rusted cars loomed like silent sentinels under pale moonlight. Riley Voss whispered, Crow uses this place to move supplies. Sarah Mitchell clutched Alex Carter's arm tightly. It feels like a graveyard, she said. Alex scanned the shadows, his heart pounding. Stay close to me. A faint metallic click echoed through the yard. Riley froze. Snipers. Bullets whizzed past, striking metal with deafening clangs. Alex dove behind an overturned crate, dragging Sarah with him. Riley shouted, We need to reach the far end. Sarah sobbed, We'll never make it. Alex set his jaw. We fight our way through. Alex Carter fired a pistol he had taken from James Harper's bag, suppressing the attackers long enough for Sarah Mitchell and Riley Voss to run between two rusted railcars. Riley yelled, This way. Sarah stumbled, but Alex caught her, pulling her to safety. The sound of boots pounded behind them, closer and closer. They're hurting us, Riley shouted, realization dawning. Alex's eyes narrowed. Toward what? They turned a corner and froze. An open railcar filled with sealed drums marked with strange symbols. Sarah gasped. It's the same as the box. Riley's face darkened. Crow's production facility. Alex whispered, He's making more poison. Footsteps surrounded the railcar. Riley Voss hissed, Too late. They've boxed us in. Sarah Mitchell clutched Alex Carter's sleeve. We can't fight them all. Alex scanned the stacked drums, his mind racing. We don't have to fight them. Riley's eyes narrowed. You're not thinking of blowing this place, are you? Alex smirked grimly. It's exactly what I'm thinking. Outside, a deep voice called, "Surrender, Carter." Sarah whimpered, "They know your name." Alex whispered, "Which means Crow's watching." Riley grabbed Alex's arm. "If you ignite these, you'll destroy the evidence." Alex growled, "Better that than letting Crow use it." Explosions rocked the night as Alex Carter fired a single shot into a leaking drum. Flames erupted instantly, sending attackers scattering. Riley Voss grabbed Sarah Mitchell, pulling her toward the tracks. "Run," he shouted. Alex stayed behind, firing at advancing enemies while smoke filled the yard. "I'm sure was review, the..." Sarah screamed. "Alex!" He turned briefly, shouting, "Go, I'll cover you." Riley dragged her towards safety as another explosion sent metal fragments flying. A spotlight illuminated Alex, revealing dozens of armed men closing in. Sarah sobbed helplessly as she was forced into the darkness. The last thing she saw was Alex standing defiant, firelight reflecting in his eyes. Smoke filled the horizon as Sarah Mitchell stumbled through the darkness, dragged by Riley Voss. Behind them, explosions tore through the train yard, each blast lighting the night sky. Sarah screamed, "We can't leave Alex." Riley's voice was harsh. He chose to stay. Sarah collapsed to her knees, sobbing. "He'll die out there." Riley crouched beside her, his face grim. "If we go back, we all die." Sarah's tear-streaked face twisted with fury. "Then we find another way." In the distance, the faint echo of gunfire made them both freeze. Riley's expression hardened. "Crow's men are still hunting." He grabbed her hand, pulling her toward a narrow service road leading deeper into the woods. Alex Carter emerged from the smoke, coughing violently, his clothes torn and blood streaking his face. Dozens of armed men surrounded him, led by a figure stepping from the shadows, Nathan Crow. Crow's voice was calm and commanding. "You destroyed my supply, Carter. That was bold." Alex glared defiantly. "You'll never finish what you started." Crow smirked, circling him. "Your father once swore loyalty to me. Did you know that?" Alex's breath caught, rage boiling in his chest. "You're lying." Crow chuckled darkly. "Oh, he betrayed me before, just as you will now." The men raised their weapons. Crow's tone turned deadly. "Bring him to the house. It's time we finish this." Sarah Mitchell and Riley Voss reached a remote hillside, overlooking an old mansion. Its windows glowed faintly, casting eerie light into the fog. Sarah's breath hitched. "Is that where he's taking Alex?" Riley nodded grimly. "Crow's stronghold." Sarah grabbed Riley's coat. "Then we go in and get him." Riley hesitated, his eyes conflicted. "Crow will expect an attack." Sarah's voice sharpened. "Then we surprise him?" A rustle in the bushes made Sarah spin, but it was James Harper, battered and limping, emerging from the shadows. Sarah gasped, throwing her arms around him. James panted. "Alex is inside. Crow plans to kill him at dawn." Riley's jaw tightened. "Then we move now." Alex Carter was dragged into the mansion's grand hall, the walls lined with faded portraits and decaying velvet drapes. Nathan Crow circled him like a predator. "Your father built this place with my blood money," Crow sneered. Alex spat at the floor. "My father wasn't like you." Crow's face darkened. "He was worse. He betrayed me, then tried to erase his sins by raising you to be his perfect son." Alex's fists trembled as two guards forced him to his knees. "You poisoned everything," Alex growled. Crow laughed coldly. "And now, I poison you." Outside, a shadow moved past the windows. Sarah, Riley, and James preparing to strike. Gunfire erupted as Sarah Mitchell and James Harper stormed the hall, Riley Voss moving like a ghost through the chaos. Guards fell, and Nathan Crow spun, furious. Alex Carter broke free, tackling Crow to the ground. Sarah screamed, Alex! James fired at approaching reinforcements, shouting, "Get Crow!" Riley kicked a guard's weapon aside and yelled, "Finish this now!" Alex and Crow struggled violently, their fight brutal and desperate. Crow snarled, "You're just like your father." Alex roared, "No, I'm better." With a final surge, Alex drove Crow into a broken railing. Crow toppled into the darkness below. Silence followed, broken only by Sarah's sobs and James' ragged breathing. The night was eerily quiet after the battle. Sarah Mitchell knelt beside Alex Carter, gently touching his bruised face. "It's over," she whispered, though her voice trembled. Alex shook his head, wincing in pain. "Crow's men are still out there." James Harper limped toward them, his breathing ragged but determined. "We need to burn what's left of this place," James said, glancing at the shattered mansion hall. Riley Voss stood near a broken window, silent and unreadable. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "James, we can't just leave this behind." James replied, "We don't have a choice." Alex rose slowly, glaring at the darkness outside. "We end it tonight," he vowed. The group moved through the woods, the mansion's glow fading behind them. Sarah Mitchell clung to Alex Carter's arm, her body trembling from exhaustion. James Harper walked ahead, scanning the trees with his flashlight. "They'll regroup," he muttered. Riley Voss trailed at the rear, unusually quiet. Alex glanced back at him suspiciously. "You've been holding back information," Alex said. Riley smirked faintly. "I told you enough to survive." Sarah frowned. "That's not enough." James cut in sharply, "Save it. We need to reach the road before sunrise." The distant howl of a wolf sent chills down Sarah's spine as fog thickened, closing around them like a living thing. At dawn they reached a deserted gas station on the outskirts of town. James Harper checked the horizon, relieved. "We're clear for now." Sarah Mitchell collapsed onto a bench, burying her face in her hands. "I can't keep running," she sobbed. Alex Carter knelt beside her. "We'll stop when Crow's entire network is gone." Riley Voss leaned against a rusted sign, watching silently. James frowned at him. "You're still not telling us everything." Riley's lips curled into a cryptic smile. "Some truths destroy more than they save." Sarah looked up, her eyes red. "We deserve to know." Riley's only answer was to turn his gaze to the rising sun, lost in thought. James Harper returned with a battered pickup truck, its engine growling faintly. "We can make it to the next town," he said. Sarah Mitchell climbed into the back seat, leaning against Alex Carter. Riley Voss slid into the passenger seat without a word. As they drove away, the ruins of the mansion disappeared into the mist behind them. Sarah whispered, "Do you think Crow is really dead?" Alex stared out the window, haunted. "I saw him fall, but I didn't hear him hit." Riley's lips twitched, almost amused. James gripped the wheel tightly, saying nothing. The silence inside the truck was louder than words, each of them drowning in their own thoughts. Hours later, they reached a small, quiet town. Sarah Mitchell stepped out of the truck, breathing in the fresh morning air. Alex Carter scanned the street, wary of every passerby. James Harper muttered, "We'll lay low here until we regroup." Riley Voss lingered near the truck, his eyes fixed on a newspaper stand. Sarah followed his gaze and froze. The headline showed a grainy photo of Nathan Crow, with bold words, "Confirmed dead." Riley smirked faintly. "Never trust what you read." Sarah's heart sank as she realized the fight might not be over. In the distance, a dark figure watched them from a rooftop, silent and still. Alex turned slowly, but the figure was gone.